We often think of history as a clear and logical story. Civilizations emerged in different corners of the world, separated by oceans too wide to cross, and for thousands of years they developed in complete isolation from one another. But what happens when that story no longer fits the evidence? What happens when we find a Sumerian bowl buried in South America, a Roman head hidden in Mexico, or a Norse coin lying in Native American soil? These artifacts do not belong to the places where they were found, and yet they exist undeniable. Physical evidence that something about our understanding of the past is deeply incomplete. Were ancient people far more advanced than we know? Or was something else guiding them? Hidden energies, maybe even visitors from beyond. Today, we'll uncover 6 of the most mysterious artifacts ever discovered that could rewrite history itself. In 1936, a couple exploring a riverbank near a small town called London in Texas stumbled upon something strange. Half buried in a lump of stone was an object no one expected to find: a hammer. Its wooden handle had turned to stone in parts, fossilized by time. The iron head, still solid, was sealed inside the rock, as if nature itself had built a vault around it. When the stone was later studied, some geologists claimed it could be over 100 million years old, dating back to the time of the dinosaurs. But the hammer didn't look ancient at all. Its head was made of refined iron, far purer than what we see in typical ancient tools. Its shape, smooth and deliberate, looked like something made with modern knowledge. If true, that meant this hammer existed long before humans were even supposed to walk the earth. How could that be? Skeptics offered a simpler answer. The hammer was man-made in recent history, and the surrounding rock formed around it through a process called concretion, where minerals harden around objects over time. But even then, why was it found in a remote area, far from mines or industry? And how did the hammer's iron resist rust for so long, staying preserved in a way most tools never do? For some, the London hammer is not just a tool, it's a riddle. Is it proof of a lost civilization, one far older and more advanced than history admits? Or could it be evidence of something far stranger, like objects slipping through time itself? Even today, the London hammer sits locked away, its secrets unanswered. A simple tool that shouldn't exist. High in the mountains of Bolivia, near the legendary Lake Titicaca, lies a mystery carved in stone. It's called the Fuente Magna bowl. At first, it looks like any other ancient vessel, worn, heavy, nothing unusual. But inside its surface are strange markings, symbols that seem completely out of place. They don't look South American. They don't match the local cultures. Instead, they look almost identical to cuneiform writing, the script of the Sumerians, one of the world's first civilizations, born thousands of years ago in Mesopotamia, on the other side of the world. How could such writing end up in Bolivia? Did ancient people cross oceans long before we think they could? Or could 2 civilizations, separated by thousands of miles, somehow share the same language? Most experts call the bowl a hoax, but here's the problem. Nobody has ever proven it fake. The bowl exists, the symbols are real, and no one can agree on how they got there. For some, it's proof that ancient people were far more connected than history admits. For others, it hints at something even stranger, knowledge passed down by forces we still don't understand. The Fuente Magna bowl is more than a vessel. It's a riddle, one that refuses to be solved. In the land where civilization was born, ancient Mesopotamia, a mystery lies buried beneath the sand. Archaeologists digging in southern Iraq uncovered objects unlike anything else from that time. Small statues, over 7,000 years old. They belong to the forgotten Ubaid culture, one of the earliest societies known to history. At first glance, these figurines look ordinary, like simple carvings of humans. But as the dust is brushed away, their faces are revealed. And suddenly, they don't look human at all. Long skulls, slanted, unblinking eyes. Thin, scaled bodies that resemble reptiles more than people. Some show strange postures, as if performing rituals. Each one carved with a precision that feels intentional. But here's the problem. The Ubaid people left no written records, no stories to explain who these beings were, no myths carved in stone. So the statues stand alone, their meaning lost. Were they gods worshipped by the Ubaid? Symbols of power? Or something else entirely? Some researchers whisper that they might represent visitors, beings not of this earth, preserved in clay by the people who saw them. Others think they reflect a memory of serpent-like creatures that haunted ancient myth. Mainstream archaeology dismisses these ideas. They say the figures are just art, exaggerated designs, nothing more. But the truth is, no one knows why people so old, so close to the dawn of civilization, would carve human bodies with reptile heads. And that is what makes them so chilling. The Ubaid lizard figurines sit in museums today, staring with their unblinking eyes, reminding us that even at the very beginning of civilization, humanity may not have been alone. High in the mountains of central Mexico, an excavation in 1933 revealed something that should not exist. Inside an ancient grave, archaeologists uncovered offerings typical of the region, pottery, jewelry, and ornaments. But buried among them was something completely out of place. A small clay head, weathered, fragile, but instantly recognizable. Its facial features, the nose, the beard, the style, looked Roman. Not Aztec, not Mayan, Roman. The problem? This burial site was dated to around 900 AD, centuries before Europeans were supposed to have crossed the ocean. In fact, according to history, Rome itself had already fallen by then. So how could a Roman-style artifact end up in the heart of Mexico? Some say it proves that sailors from the Old World may have reached the Americas long before Columbus. A forgotten voyage, swallowed by history. Others believe it was carried through trade networks so vast, they spanned oceans we thought were impossible to cross. Skeptics argue it's just a coincidence that the head was a modern object, somehow planted in the burial site. But here's the catch. The stratigraphy of the soil suggested the head had been lying there for centuries, untouched. If it is authentic, the implications are staggering. It would mean contact between two worlds, the Roman and the pre-Columbian, a connection no history book has ever recorded. And yet, the head exists, quietly mocking the boundaries of what we believe possible. In 1957, deep in the forests of Maine, a man digging in the soil uncovered something small and strange. It was a coin, old, silver, worn by time. Experts later discovered it wasn't just any coin. It was a Norse penny made by Vikings more than 1,000 years ago. But here's the problem. Vikings were never supposed to be in Maine. History tells us they only reached parts of Canada, far to the north. So how did a Viking coin end up buried in Native American land? Some say the Vikings came farther south than we believe, trading directly with local tribes. Others think the coin passed from hand to hand, carried across generations, until it was lost in the ground. But there's another possibility. That Vikings explored much deeper into North America than history admits, and left behind quiet traces that we're only just beginning to find. Skeptics argue it could have been dropped by a collector, long after the coin was made. But the site where it was found was ancient, full of native tools and artifacts, untouched by modern people. So how could a coin from across the ocean, made 1,000 years ago, end up here? In 1890, deep in the frozen Ural Mountains of Russia, miners pulled something out of the earth that no one expected. A massive statue, carved from larch, standing more than 17 feet tall. And when scientists tested it, they made a shocking discovery. The wood was over 12,000 years old. That makes the Shigir Idol twice as old as the pyramids of Egypt, the oldest wooden sculpture ever found. But what makes it truly strange are the markings. The statue is covered in mysterious carvings, zigzags, faces, geometric shapes, a code from a world we no longer understand. Some think the patterns tell a story of creation. Others believe it's a map or a warning passed down from a forgotten people, but no one has ever been able to read it. How did ancient hunters, living in a time before farming, create something so massive and so complex? What knowledge did they have that we have lost? To stand before the Shigir Idol is to feel a presence from another age, a reminder that 12,000 years ago, humans were already shaping wood, carving symbols, and leaving behind mysteries that survive to this day. The idol has outlived empires, languages, even entire civilizations, and yet its meaning remains hidden.